showing as one of the best homegrown North American mid lane talents. And there's just so many good players. There's just everything you can talk about.
Altec has bounced around some honestly bad teams in the LCS, but he's always been a big contributor, and now he's got some real big-time players that he's playing up with. Going to be a pretty sick game, I would say.
Yeah, we've already got through the picks and bans. So you can see Gangplank, Tom Kench, Graves already off the table via Immortals, Elise, Lulu, and Fiora banned out by NRG, and they've right away first picked the Corki, which can be GBM or Altec.
Absolutely. That's the big thing. Corki mid lane has proven to be a pretty big force, very strong lane, and now brings you that AP damage threat from the mid lane as well as the gank priority with the package you can pick up from the base.
And Immortals making a choice I think Dignitas should have been the last draft. Grab the Lissandra up against what can easily be a double AD comp or just a siege-focused one. The Nidalee is actually already locked in by Moon. GBM now to make his own choice on mid laner, but look at this already. 2 squishy long-range backliners. How do you get onto them? Maybe Lissandra.
Really quick pick for the Nidalee, honestly, and it's something that Reignover hasn't really played, so it also is a bit of a different style for Moon. You don't think of him as kind of a farm-heavy jungler. You would expect him to be more of a utility just because of Impact and GBM being such commanding solo laners. And we have some serious NA Rengar up in this game.
I mean, so many things already locked in.
Will be bringing it, so.
Yeah. Korean,
Whether or not
EU,
you
NA
call
Rengar.
it NA Rengar, it is Korean, EU, NA Rengar.
And that's
World's Rengar.
World's Rengar, that's true. We'll see if it ends up being game over or if it is rain over after all. But another Janna, of course, for Pobelter. You're seeing the rest of NRG put their lineup together. Varus getting picked up likely for the mid lane. A defensive tank and Alistar was already grabbed for support, but they've also now grabbed Maokai for impact. So even though he can play these carries, and we saw his Fiora in his only NALCS game so far this year, he is back on Maokai to protect GBM and Altec and Moon. Those are the 3 carrying this game.
Super fast champion select right here.
Yeah.
And honestly, some new choices seen in this draft. For the side of NRG, this is incredibly similar to Cloud9's composition yesterday that got run over by Team Impulse because they have 2 strong tanks and then 3 poking champions. So they have a tank line and then squishies. But how in the world are Maokai and Alistar going to protect you from all the different angles Zed, Rengar, and Lissandra can attack?
Yeah.
It'll be so difficult for NRG to set up the proper poke scenarios, and it's really on Immortals to break through to those squishies, and that could be the thing that breaks open this game.
And here we go, the first NAZ of the year. Pobelter brings out the Assassin in the mid lane, and what better time to try to elude some tanks and get into that squishy backline. Adrian, 4 for 4 now on playing Janna. It seems like if you let him pick it, he will, regardless of the comp, regardless of what's going on. He is going to play this champion and buff up the AD Assassins and keep Wild Turtle alive.
Well, he's hit 15 assists and 0 deaths in 2 of his games, and the only time he couldn't get to 15 assists is because the game was over in 18 minutes. So I'd say so far so good. Don't fix it if it's not broken. Immortals, though, this is the squishiest team they have put together. If they fall behind against Maokai or even against Corki Varus, the poke could 2-shot them because no one's really going to be building tank stats.
Yeah.
Once again, we could see a highly variable, volatile game from Immortals, but that was a very fast and exciting draft, which hopefully the game mimics.
The game could be fast and exciting as well. It could be absolutely incredible. Guys, you at home, as always, voted in this one. Hashtag NRG winner, hashtag IMT win to @LCS Esports on Twitter. Let us know who it's going to be. Every major region actually has an undefeated team except for the European LCS. North America will have one at the end of the day, but of the 2 3-0 teams, one will get their first loss here. Will it be NRG? Will it be Immortals? Here we go into the game. This is going to be a big one.
Game of the week. Nice Immortals banners. You can already see them running out of the base in a pretty defensive formation. They're just trying to get the wards out.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
So no early invades to be seen so far. Have to see how well Immortals can lane swap this one, because an early magic resist item on a top lane Maokai will really diminish Huni's ability to create pressure in the lane. Have to make teleport plays for sure.
Something to watch for. right now. 1 minute and 3 seconds in, Impact can start setting up saplings for whatever jungle start he wants to set Moon up with. Moon himself, I want to know if he's actually going for a trap start or a javelin start. And solo queue tend to see traps. He is putting traps down himself, so that will give the best start that Nidalee can have. You just basically get to continue to refresh the hunt and get super low cooldown pounces. That's how you clear the jungle the best as Nidalee. One more Bushwhack comes down, and it will be a Krug start. And Impact actually not doing any sapling spam to make this faster.
Yeah, who needs saplings?
Actually, no, I think he did get them on... whatever, we'll figure it out later.
Either way, I think he threw a scouting sapling in the river early on.
Yeah, he did not get Raptors. There's no bonus CS on this Maokai.
Level 2?
Oh, he did donate to GBM. Okay, that's what I was missing. GBM has 3 bonus CS by sending a piercing arrow over from where the saplings were on Raptors. I wanted to figure it out. I finally did.
Yep, congratulations.
Not as important as you might think.
All figured out. It'll be a slight experience advantage, honestly. GBM can hit level 2 before a Pole Belter and get a little bit more of an early laning advantage. A Corruption Potion Varus. Definitely important.
Huni sees that he is in a lane swap and comes to defend Reignover as well as be part of the double jungle. As there were some people walking in and trying to mess with that. That was Conquan's support Alistair.
Yeah, I'm worried for Huni's experience in this game. It's going to be hard for him to find a lane where he can survive well. If Impact gets ahead of him, he won't be able to lane well against Maokai, just thanks to Maokai's tankiness and the fact that Lysandra is so spam heavy with her spells. Maokai can just heal back up with auto attacks. And then against Alistair Corki, it's a lot of crowd control that can... A lot of crowd control and burst damage, just with Alistair and Corki. So a squishy Lysandra wouldn't be able to exist in that lane either. And Lysandra's also not a great double jungler. It's really going to rely on Huni finding creative ways to get experience, whether it's through gank kills or finding some empty lanes where he can just pick up minions without contention. Because other than that, he's going to be really far behind on a champion that can't fall behind and still succeed.
Well, right now he's going to be sharing XP in the bottom lane here, and we'll see how well the wave bounce goes. Immortals are actually letting the minions hit minions, which is actually suboptimal for dealing damage to turrets. You actually want your champions to focus it and tank them. This turret will die a little bit more slowly as a result. Shouldn't be a huge problem. Reignover does not properly guesstimate red buff damage.
And it's healing.
And it starts healing. It's okay, he got 5 Frosty. It was all part of the plan. That was totally intentional. Impact takes down the top lane outer turret. Wild Turtle will do the same. He gets solo gold here. And he will build a freeze that Huni could choose to use, but Huni's actually walking top lane for that one.
Yeah, Altec is going to run into this wave and just try and get the minions and shove as quickly as possible. The timing on Altec's arrival in that lane is actually perfect. So I think he missed 1 CS, which is great when you consider what normal wave bouncing can do to you. And there's also no threat on him right now.
He's also breaking the freeze, so it's going to push in.
Yeah, very good.
Deathfire Touch Varus. I guess it actually makes sense since you're not going to 3-hit very often. Just getting that little bit of extra poke off your Q.
Yeah.
Otherwise, pretty much what I would expect from every champion here.
Got the Wind Speaker's Alistair as well. Give that nice armored MR to everyone if he can get the right Triumphant Roar off. Fight.
Reignover also rushed cooldown boots, by the way, and he is going Strength of Ages.
Real early.
It's the same as his Olaf, actually. His Olaf went Strength of Ages as well into full tank, and even though Reignover can carry games, he tends to build his junglers very, very tanky regardless. So, par for the course for him as a player, although you would expect the typical Rengar to build full attack damage. It's not typically Rengar's or Reignover's style. GB missing a couple of CS on a turret, not too bad. Overall scoreline, he is +4 on Poe Belter, lands the Q poke, and you can see that little purple burn did a bit of damage via Corrupting Potion and Deathfire Touch.
Stacking a lot of extra damage onto that single poke spell, very valuable. Moon doing a jungle invade because they long ago spotted Reignover walking through a tri-rush ward in the top lane, so he knew he was safe to go in and get some of his Tracker's Knife wards down in the jungle. Leaves a little wolf up and would expect that Grom to be spawning fairly early, which I think didn't happen, so he's killing it now, yep.
As well for the NRG jungler here, who is basically equal level to Reignover, so both these guys have done so far roughly the same things this game. They've both counter jungled with what they can. They've both leveled up reasonably well and gotten similar CS. Pobelter just missing one minion under the turret and is a bit far behind thanks to a melee versus range matchup. GBM has continually pushed Pobelter in. Watching Huni versus Impact in the top lane, also fairly close to equal. Should both be hitting level 5 on this wave. Huni just has, Impact will. But Impact can build a freeze, so Huni's got to make a choice to either break that, and he may with the ward coverage he's got, or roam.
Yeah, he has 2 pink wards up right now, so he's feeling really safe. Almost impossible for Nidalee to find a good approach onto him at the moment. And he was able to get the pink ward coverage down because Reignover spent that visit in the top side. So really, that's the position that Immortals needs to put Huni into. We were talking about how it's going to be difficult for him to find the right situation to farm, and at least in this part of the game, he's found it. Once Impact gets a magic resist, it'll become difficult again.
Well, here comes version 2, or maybe phase 3 of the lane swap here. Immortals recalling their dual lane back once more. A bit of an awkward recall for Turtle, though. Recalled at about 900 gold, could only get Cloak of Agility. He'd like to get VF Sword if he could help it on Lucian, but he won't have that here. Minor freeze by the NRG bot lane. You saw them let the entire wave push back in after Wild Turtle cleared it. Freezing can always result in some very big CS discrepancies. Right now, Moon just taking jungle camp still some more, and Adrian has roamed over to the top lane. He's here to support Reignover in his gank attempt on this top lane. There is a turret for Impact to fall behind to. And Impact has not even bought yet. He's stayed up in this lane since the turret went down in the first place.
Really, Adrian just up there for fun. In case there was a Nidalee there, they would have had a numbers advantage, but really, he's not going to be much of a gank assist. He's more of just there in case a fight breaks out.
Yep.
Spot where you want to shoot your arrow from on Varus. Hide in the fog of war so they have less time to react to your arrow. Pobelter will only then see the arrow as soon as one of his minions would technically be in vision of where the missile is firing from, so it takes a little longer.
And if I have my numbers right, to do some quick math on what Piercing Arrow with Deathfire Touch would do, even though the duration is cut in half via it being an area of effect spell, Piercing Arrow, it still has a 0.3 attack damage ratio on the remaining dot. So adding 0.3 attack damage ratio to an already pretty scary Piercing Arrow is a significant damage bump. So I definitely agree with GBM's choice of getting Deathfire Touch as the mastery here. Even if you get reduced benefits, that benefit is still quite high.
First big play of the game here. With the package being picked up, Altec zooms out towards the mid lane. And knowing they already chunked Pobelter a little bit, they're trying to get this push down while the wave clear of Immortals isn't there. But Immortals, this is their chance to get onto the squishy targets.
And Huni goes right in, takes a bunch of damage, saves the ult for just now. And here goes the team. Altec is going to be first blood in this game. But in the back line, Pobelter dies as well, but still sniped down by Wild Turtles culling. A 2-for-1 to Immortals, and they are staying in the mid lane.
That's actually an exact preview of what's to come in this game because NRG wants to set up wave clear, poke sieges, and Immortals can't let that happen because they don't have healing and they're all squishy. So the instant NRG sets up a siege, Immortals has to fight them unless they concede a turret. Because once a poke team starts poking you, there is no stopping it. So that lack of hesitation is actually required from Immortals every time NRG groups.
Speaking of lack of hesitation, Impact going right in on Wild Turtle, who's forced to flash away because the follow-up would have been much too scary for him to deal with. Summoner lost the gap.
Flashing through before Conquan can get the CC on Huni, and then ulting himself because he's in the middle of 4 people. So great play there, and exhaust goes down early on Pobelter on the back fight if we're looking to the left of the screen. And a nice Maokai route right after he used his ultimate so he can't bounce back for the safety. Wild Turtle gets the snipe, however, onto Moon, which pulled them into a 2-for-1 situation.
Honestly, a lot of really impressive stuff there. Huni realized that when he flash W'd, he was not in range of Conquan. Pulverize couldn't have landed, nor headbutt, because he's rooted. So he got to wait, and then self-ult, make sure he didn't get pulverized. He got to delay his CC properly, didn't have to worry about getting chain stunned.
Yeah.
Also, Adrian flash tornadoed, so that when Reignover was done being stunned himself, could then land the root. Altec never had time to flash away, actually. He was chain rooted, I believe, until death. So a lot of very small micro plays done that actually resulted in the kills going the way they did.
Immortals has that inbuilt teamfight synergy somehow, despite being the new team.
Impressive stuff. Immortals only at 500 gold for their attempts, though, and Adrian, yeah, poked down by GBM. You've got to, getting a kill or two or not, Huni's now without flash, so is Adrian.
And this is where we need to see the initiation come again from Immortals. There's no flash on Huni, though, and he was off in the top wave, so they're burning as many cooldowns as possible to keep them from the turret. But it's all about flank wards for NRG on the side to see when Immortals collapses in, because NRG doesn't want to get flanked by the Assassins, and Immortals doesn't want to let the team group up in the mid lane to push. It is a classic matchup here of poke versus flank, and it's really all about execution.
It is going to be about execution, and if Immortals can get those executions, they can stop the poke from really happening. You saw Rift Herald buff, I believe, was onto Moon, and he's the one really leading these minions in. Wild Turtle last wave burned his ultimate to knock those things down. And this wave, NRG not choosing to stay around. Reignover at level 8, full ferocity. Did go Cinderhulk, by the way, on Rengar. So he will remain the sole tank on the team.
So he will also be able to go in early and hopefully get a root down. It'll be a lot of untargetable or tanky, distracting people that go in while they're trying to do those assassinations. Rengar can be really slippery, Zed can be very slippery, and once Huni gets his Rod of Ages, probably Zonius is his next item, he will also be very difficult to kill, despite them all bringing some pretty high damage. Despite the low kill count here at 12 minutes.
It's a very tense game.
And it will be explosive at some point, just because of the matchup in the team composition.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, the lower kill the game is, generally it speaks to the better energies playing the game. Because the things that they kill are going to be minion waves and turrets, not so much champions unless Immortals missteps heavily.
Yeah. And if NRG can get enough poke down before Immortals tries a team fight, that's how they get their team fight wins. Here comes another siege mid lane and another fight mid.
Root onto Moon, down to half HP on the Nidalee. He's got full ferocity again, dodges away from the skill shot, but can't get away from Wild Turtle. And now Conquad rooted up in the back lines. In goes Reignover, really wants this. Only level 5 on Alistar. Means this will be a kill for Pobelter despite the exhaust. Trying to get away from the turret though, down to 600 health, but it's still a 2 for 0. Impact in the back lines. Can he really win a fight 3 versus 5? He's gonna try. Goes in, gets Huni. Altec picks that one up. Now Reignover has to be careful. Gets a shield, stays alive. Again, 2 for 1 Immortals.
Wow, and Adrian's ultimate on Janna could not save Huni there. I think Impact may have been untargetable during the ultimate from Adrian. Some really tight stuff here. Neither of these teams showing hesitation and making these plays with a lot of confidence, and the siege will continue now. Even though they suffered some casualties, Immortals got low, and Impact made a counterplay. So at the end of the day, 1 turret down.
+1 kill, still +1 turret for NRG, and they're going to keep moving forward. Look at this, really undaunted. Mid lane tier 2, chunk below. Wild Turtle half HP, and Adrian is out of mana. Half health on this turret now, and NRG will finally say, okay, you got a bit of time. But this team's back here.
Well, here's the thing. This is a great time for NRG to siege because Immortals just burned so many key cooldowns in that last engage. As the game progresses, they're going to have smaller and smaller windows because ultimate cooldowns will go down. Here, though, Reignover got the nice route onto Moon. That's one of the big reasons I think he picked the Rengar, because he can lock down the Nidalee very easily when he jumps in or in split push situations. He tanked the turret for a little bit. Pobelter then trades to tank the turret for a little bit. And I really want to see this Maokai going in because Adrian attempts to peel him, but isn't capable. No, he just locks him down right away. Then the ult comes out, but the heal is not enough to keep him alive.
Altec already there to put the damage down, and of course, first Corki with Trinity Force, plenty bursty. Down he goes. So, gold almost equal, 400 difference here. Impact gonna get a big wave in the top lane though, and actually has gone, I haven't seen this item in a long time, but Righteous Glory on Maokai. Flash from the pass in a little bit.
I'm not really sure the path Impact would want to go in this for optimal play because they're a poke team and he's kind of counter siege. But in this case, if they do get poked down, Impact wants to be able to go in and finish, which is what the Righteous Glory would be for, a chase in after a fight.
Yeah. I think it also does allow them to present more threat. This team is somewhat low engage, and if he can Righteous Glory into a targeted route, all the poke lands, that person dies.
Because they're all
whoever Maokai roots is probably dead. There's a little bit of an offensive edge, I think, is my guess in what this is for.
I think you're right, and it's also one of the tankiest things you can build on Maokai early. Rod of Ages, while providing more damage, is just not as tanky as the Righteous Glory, even though Righteous Glory has undergone some pretty big nerfs.
Quite a few number of them. Well, Pobelter is on the split push train, but he's up against Impact, so good luck killing him. He's got a bunch of health as well as this Ninja Tabi here. Rod of Ages now stacking up for Huni. And Altec, of course, going for the standard Trinity Force build himself. fan vote is heavily in the way of Immortals, and you know, based on the games you saw from them, you would expect so, but we really have only seen one game up till now of the full NRG lineup. And it was Impact nearly solo carrying against Renegades. Now Immortals looking for the next objective here. They have gotten the first Dragon, and they got that about 5 minutes ago. And now they're looking for the Rift Herald. Not a problem for them.
Easy take. Wild Turtle getting the damage and move speed here. He's already 3-1, will be getting the Jonas shield in team fight, so Wild Turtle looking to do a bunch of damage.
Nice happen by Impact. He's going to TP to get away. Rainover will not get the root in time. Impact with that one sapling gets himself to not die, but it will mean an outer turret going down. However, the rest of NRG is ready to push. Altec's alone in the bottom lane.
Well, it also means Impact can't teleport flank if NRG's winning a team fight. Because that's typically when he'd want to teleport in to pick off stragglers. There's still a turret trade, though. Main win or loss there was the Summoner Spell burnt by Impact. And Immortals' ultimates are back up for this next siege that NRG wants to pull off. No Rengar ultimate, but they do have Lissandra ultimate. And there it goes!
Huni nearly gets chain stunned to death, but will get a self ult to stay alive. Wild Turtle tanks and exhaust, but still looks for a bit of poke. NRG flailing back. Pobelter, though, does not go in for the hard engage. Plenty of damage dealt. Huni, though, too low to fight.
Yeah, not as clean as the prior Immortals engages. Huni gets played by Conquan there and nearly bursted out. Thanks to his Rod of Ages, he lived just long enough to ult himself and still make an escape. But that does mean a successful disengage and another successful turret for the siege composition of NRG.
Right, I mean, all the NRG siege is really ultimate not required here. The tanks, it doesn't really matter how tanky they are as long as the poke comes through, and those are all basic abilities primarily. But Immortals lost 4 ultimates within the last couple of fights there. Rainover going top lane and the rest of the team in the mid. So, well, there goes the engage tools. NRG really unafraid of the fact that they took some hits and they knew they could keep going. Gold lead to NRG playing the siege comp.
Trying to think of the big items that will come in and turn this one. When GBM and Altec can get QSSs, it's actually pretty huge as far as Immortals' ability to force team fights. Lissandra, Zed, and Rengar can somewhat be shut down by those, even though they'll still be taking the damage. But at the same time, NRG does need to make sure they're getting their damage first. Otherwise, you can QSS it, but if you're never killing back, you're still going to die.
Yeah. At the same time, there's, what, 3 big damage dealers of Immortals that will continue to scale up in terms of damage. And the faster you one-shot an enemy marksman, you know, the better your fight goes. So Huni will continue to get damage. His Rod of Ages will continue to stack. It's at 5 right now. Ruin can really done for Pobelter. That'll increase his damage. And yeah, I'm curious to see how these teams will grow. Frost Queen's Claim also nearly done for Adrian. That'll be another engage tool that's lower cooldown on average than the engage tools of Immortals normally have. Posturing up now for the Dragon, though. 19 minutes in. And NRG will get 6% bonus attack damage and ability power if they get this one.
Yeah.
Immortals just bought, so they won't be here to defend.
And NRG is actually winning the map controls 4 turrets to 2, which is one of the big reasons they can actually take this Dragon, because Immortals needs to respect that in a lot of ways. And it's harder for Immortals to get into flank position the more turrets they lose, because it's more unsafe for them to get deep wards in which they need to flank, and it's also easier for NRG to place the defensive wards they need to prevent the flank. Sightstone onto Conquan, pink wards in everyone's inventory, and a Tracker's Knife on Moon mean they can set up a lot of good flanks. Since they're primarily just pushing the mid lane, they're warding both sides quite well.
Good job by them. Yeah, the Sightstone and the Smite Stone working together. Small little play by Wild Turtle there. Delayed the kill on the red buff till Adrian could level up by standing nearby. Level 8 now on this Janna. Nice little thing there. Frost Queen still not yet done, though. Has 300 gold to go until that combine is eligible for him. 2 items for Wild Turtle. He just picked up the Rapid Fire Cannon. He'll have more ability to hit some people in these fights now. That first double attack will have 150 bonus range. Pobelter does not stay in the top lane fight and still has room to go before that Blade of the Ruin King is done. Only got the recurve bow here. Couple hundred more gold for him as well. Moon is actually starting to take away the Immortals jungle camps, and you're going to see the gold lead continue to grow.
There it is.
And there's the root right away into Altec, and in comes Pobelter as well. And there's the flash away. Altec will stay alive, and the poke now comes in, but Impact is left alone. That should be a kill picked up. Plenty of poke from Altec, though the backline is low from Immortals, but Moon gets caught out by Rainover and Huni, and a double kill yet again for Wild Turtle.
No hesitation and everyone willing to pile on. It's what you have to do in this situation. Impact tried to flash to peel Altec, and they put everything into saving Altec. That Impact ended up falling as well. And then since Huni collapsed to the fight a little bit later, he was then able to add the lockdown onto Moon, who's not going to be able to build a QSS anytime soon. And when we see this one more time, he actually flashed to get the even faster surprise on Altec, but with both summon spells, he's still able to get out clean. And then Impact was so far ahead, and since he'd already flashed to help peel, he had no flash for the secondary escape. At this point, Moon was too far forward because they should have left Impact to die, and he should have been back with the rest of the team, but he was still caught in team fight mode.
Yeah.
When really, when you're playing a poke comp and you get jumped on, it is full disengage mode. There was no team fighting involved if you haven't landed your pre-fight poke, and that's why Immortals comes out with 2 kills.
Unfortunate choice by Moon to give up that second kill, as you mentioned, was too far forward. Thought he could keep dealing damage while Impact was tanking, but it was not to be. Problem is, with how well these waves have been pushed, Immortals really got nothing picked up off of that. I don't believe they took down any turrets they wouldn't have gotten already. Dragon, of course, already off the map. Rift Herald already off the map as well, so it just meant 2 kills and a recall. And it means that NRG are, in fact, still ahead in this game.
And one of the scariest things for NRG is the fact that Wild Turtle has 5 of the 6 kills for Immortals. And he's going to already be buffed up by the Janna. Whenever one person can get so many more kills, the gold actually, in my opinion, becomes a little bit more valuable if the other team doesn't have an assassination threat.
Yeah.
So NRG doesn't have an assassination threat for Wild Turtle. And 80 carry damage items aren't additive in how they increase damage, it's multiplicative in how you increase damage. So 3,000 gold on Wild Turtle gives more overall damage than 1,000 gold on 3 different people.
Yep.
Because of the multiplying nature of stats. When Wild Turtle hits 5 or 6 items, he is going to be able to kill absolutely everyone, and he's accelerated towards that path.
That's the scary thing for NRG. They've got to be real careful about who takes the damage and how long they are in combat for. Wild Turtle right now on wave crew duty. This turret not taking much damage. Look at that. He was not willing to fight back against Wild
We're
Turtle.
going to see a fight. Lissandra and Zed are on the backside as Reignover pops his ultimate. NRG knows it's coming. It's all about stopping.
Here comes the engage. Moon dangerously low. Huni keeps himself alive, but to the back line they go. They've already picked up 1. They're going to pick up 2. It's a double for Pobelter. He's now on to GBM. He wants more. He's thirsty for blood. Wild Turtle finds the 3rd. This is a whitewash in favor of Immortals. Impact the 4th kill. It's 2 double kills for the Immortals carries.
And that might be the fight that breaks the camel's back there for NRG, because this was by far the best fight for Immortals. They got great flank positioning. Even though NRG tried to ward their sides, there was just such a big path that Immortals could follow through the backside. Both assassins got primary position. It absolutely collapsed the peel of NRG, and they just did not have nearly enough tools to disengage here. Huni, as the pink ward has seen, NRG knows they have to run away, so what do? Do you group up against the assassins? Well, no, it's Lissandra. He'll hit everyone. At this point, Huni does hit everyone. Reignover jumps to the backside. They've tried to burn peel on that, which means Pobelter has free reign. Really, once the flank had happened, NRG was done for, and we see it here in this fight.
So great by Huni as well. Oh man, another one goes down. Goodbye to Confon. The ulti was still down from the last fight, and this means finally Immortals can knock down their 3rd turret kill of the game. They got the Baron, they came back, they found more things to do. Yeah. And they are finally up 5,000 gold as a result of 1 team fight.
NRG just does not have enough peel to stop all the flank assassinations from Immortals. And the only way in which they would be able to win this game is if Immortals wasn't 100% decisive. Immortals has been, though. They're flanking immediately. This is a perfect example of how you play against a poke comp. With no hesitation, the right flanks pretty much every single time. And it's very impressive to watch. This is why Immortals is 3-0, and this is why many people are calling them the best team in North America.
It might soon be 4-0. Their game's going well for them right now. 4 turrets to 4 now. They've tied up that score line. Dragons up in 5 seconds. That should be an easy win to pick up as well. But as the Baron slowly times out, and it's in fact going to be gone in a minute and a half. They've got some time still with it. But when the does go back, they're going to have a difficult time once again pushing, because there are some good wave clear tools from NRG. And their engage is strong, but they still only have 1 pseudo tank and Reignover. NRG may have some time to lick their wounds and find another attempt. We'll see if that happens in the near future.
Yeah, and the question will be just how quickly can they burst people down now that the QSSs are completed. Dragon hasn't even been fully prioritized for Immortals, so it's not like they can stack the 5 dragons very quickly. But they do have that 7,000 gold lead. And the important thing to note is every time NRG moves out now, they just don't have the time to set up flank wards. And not that the flank wards have saved them up until this point.
Sure.
It's even less likely to be able to set up a successful siege now that they've fallen behind.
A lot of poke. Wild Turtle happy to play aggressively. He can burn QSS in case he's ever afraid of the Varus and just chunk people down. Mid lane tier 2 goes down largely from Wild Turtle's aggression. He zones 2 out by himself. Now Huni in on an impact. This is the one tank on energy and nearly gets soloed by the Immortals top laner.
But it does burn 2 ultimates, which will probably buy NRG some time. Huni and Reignover.
Jeez.
Whoa. That's the multiplicative damage we were talking about.
And good. Oh, okay, he burned QSS, but then look at that. Waits, the Ignite comes in. There's one more Shuriken toss, and that's a kill going through to Pobelter. 13-2 Immortals, sizably ahead. 10,000 gold and a bot lane inhibitor at 2630.
Yeah. Watching the game the way it's devolving right now for NRG makes you feel like they never really had a chance from Champion Select. Because once you see assassins running free like Zed and Lissandra, and even Wild Turtle with 8 kills, it just looks so hopeless for NRG right now. They don't have the ways to escape all of the chase of Immortals, and NRG doesn't have a team fight composition to actually fight when they get caught. But that is the make or break of a poke composition. It's tough life, and Immortals is turning this into a stomp.
They absolutely are. Immortals, when they get ahead, they tend to close things out fast. Record holders for fastest win in NALCS history, and you can see with games like this why they are able to do this and win so well and so consistently so far. It's only been their 4th game right here on the Rift, but these guys are scary. Dragon number 2 is theirs. They chose to delay that until after they could finish sieging with their Baron buff, so I think that is actually the correct choice. They don't need to wait for Dragon 5, but they did want to use as much of Baron as possible.
Adrian still has not died, so currently he has
47 KDA?
48 KDA because of the 1 kill. 47 assists, 1 kill, 0 deaths. Maybe he's making a run for Bangs, what he was at 70 KDA at one point during
Something
Worlds.
super high.
Adrian will... I want to see 100.
I've been waiting so long to see 100.
A triple-digit KDA.
Back in the Challenger Series,
Highly unlikely.
2014, there was a bot lane that had they got up to 96 KDA.
Whoa.
And they both got killed at the start of the next game they played. And I was so heartbroken. And then we had Bang, and I was like, okay, he's going to do it. And then that happened.
And he died a few times.
All right, Adrian.
The thing is, you don't want the KDA to become a problem that impacts your play, because oftentimes it is the right call to die. Huni, though, is really far out of position.
That will be him trying to run, but hello, special delivery by Alltech. Yeah, that'll be Impact getting the kill, so 1 for him. GBM in the back lines, not in a good spot, does QSS away the death mark and will stay alive thanks to Moon's heal. And Immortals managed to bleed away a kill and not get much for it right now.
Yep, that is a Huni mistake right there. They do lose 1 Nexus turret, and this buys some time for Immortals to push up, but they do have to be cautious. No death mark, no Lissandra ultimate, and no Lissandra.
Quan comes in, Wild Turtle trying to stay alive, but he still got hit by the ulti of GBM. Now Adrian's rooted, but Reignover is there to keep them all alive, and no major casualties, but here comes Impact into the back line. Once again, finds the route onto Wild Turtle. This overstay could punish Energy. Impact is tanky. He finds another route, but Walter is still alive. Impact, though, is going to live as well, and that's a big stun. Here comes the follow-up. Now, do Energy have it? Wild Turtle's low, shut down by Moon. Here comes the chase. Another route for Impact, and another kill for Energy. They're finally getting back in, but here comes Huni. Cancels the teleport. That was smart, but it's a 2-for-0 for Energy.
There becomes a time where you do need to show restraint, and that was it for Huni in canceling that teleport. Really, though, that all started with Huni dying at the very beginning, and Quan landed some massive headbutt pulverizes throughout that fight, and that's why Impact has the Righteous Glory and the teleport. He gets back onto Wild Turtle. Turtle doesn't have ultimate while he's trying to peel here, but it actually looked like Immortals was still going to be able to turn this fight due to the immense amount of damage from Wild Turtle until Quan uses Reignover as a headbutt target and lands the edge of his pulverize onto Wild Turtle. That prompts a full escape from Immortals, and Adrian was Immortal up until that flash where he really doesn't cover much distance, and Impact kills him right away. If he flashes over the wall, he remains unkilled. Luckily, with the way KDA is calculated, he still has that 47 KDA.
Yep.
We get one more death. Still a chance.
We're no longer dividing by 0, so at least it's a defined KDA of 38. But
yeah.
48, whatever. I can't do math anymore. It's fine. We're going to move on. I've lost my entire skills as a caster.
The more
30 minutes
important question, though, is whether NRG can get that type of pre-fight poke before a fight happens. That time it was a 4v5. We see they can win the 4v5s, but you're not going to get those very frequently. There are some inherent difficulties with assassin-based teams actually cracking open the base.
Yeah.
And with one inhibitor already down and an Nexus turret, that's probably already solved for Immortals. But that failure there is a display of the difficulties that can arise when you're trying to end the game with a team like Immortals.
3 QSSs on the Energy lineup. Moon, GBM, and Altec, all the non-tanks have built to not get one shot by Pobelter, or to get away from Huni's engage if he ever points the ulti on him. Now, it is a big tax on their inventory and tax on their gold, but it will remove a lot of the options that Immortals has for winning those fights. We'll see how that pays out. 9,000 gold. This will jump to 10K when this Baron goes down. No one is here to contest this. The Immortals continue to hold map control, and it will take a while for Energy to catch back up.
Clean 10,000 gold, 60,000 to 50,000.
Nice. That's 20% of a gold lead right there.
Love me some clean numbers.
Not anymore, though.
Depends on which side you're looking at, the 20%.
A 20% lead? Yeah. This is a 16% deficit.
Yeah, because if you double it to 100K and 100K. So Immortals has 20% more, but Energy would have not 20%.
16%, 16.6% less.
You know, they told us we couldn't do math on stream.
Yeah.
We showed them.
Yeah, look how exciting this is, guys. Don't you want more of this? Ah.
All right, math.
Question, math versus puns, which is more interesting?
Math.
Math, almost
Absolutely.
definitely.
Math puns.
We made people cheer for math, guys. How good is League of Legends? 13-5, Immortals pushing back into the bottom lane. See, these guys know how to push for a dead inhibitor turret and knock the inhib down themselves. Conquan looking for an engage. Impact is pushing back Huni, who cannot withstand that 1v1. Impact, quote-unquote, can't play damage dealers, but still out-dueling Huni despite a 80 minion deficit.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show you how beastly Maokai can get later in the game against primarily magic damage dealer, even with a Frozen Heart and Ninja Top. It's not like he was even built to deal with Huni.
Spear Visage, good enough.
Yeah, that's enough. That's all Maokai needs.
Just Maokai thinks.
And now with the inhibitor respawn, it's slowly getting ticked away. Huni is waiting for Energy to push out a bit because that's when he wants to get a home guard TP in. Yeah. He's putting in the TP really far away, but I think he's still going to try for something.
He's just staying still. Now he's going to look for the play, going to jump over the wall.
All right.
Not jump over the wall.
He was far ahead from his team. That was actually a very poorly timed fall.
Yeah.
He could wait for the minions.
One more time. Will go. Flash W. 2 QSS's self-ult. That's going to be the inhibitor. Now what more can it be? Pobelter wants it. He goes for the back line. QSS are down. He's going to push in. He's already picked up GBM. Altec's going to be next. Rainover gets that kill. And the back line is dead. The front line is next. 3 kills for the fight. This will be the game. And Immortals will take it home in under 34 minutes. They are North America's last undefeated team. And they have taken down Energy.
What a relentless final fight that was. Just brute forcing their way into Energy's Nexus, essentially. That's the only place they had to retreat from. No turret safety whatsoever. And yeah, Freak, 4-0 on Immortals. And this was a display of coordination and willingness to fight. If you're going to be playing poke comps against them, be ready to deal with multiple assassinations and no hesitation on the engage.
None at all. What a great game there. There's a quick hug between the former teammates.
To be fair, Impact did have an opportunity to laugh over Adrian's dead body.
That's true.
Yeah, it was his twisted advance that ultimately led to the death of Adrian. So, small victories.
Small victories.
Hashtag silver linings.
You take them where you can, but even still, this means Energy are currently alone in second place at 3-1. CLG can tie that in our next game. The only other team that sits at only one deficit or one loss right now.
Yep.
Which means Immortals have at least a 1-game lead over second place and at least a 2-game lead over fourth place here. So
already pulling away from the pack.
I mean, seriously, this early on, but Immortals are somewhat pulling away.